Hi, and welcome to Hedge Fund Manager. I'm Karl-Mikael Siding. Today I'm doing a deep dive into AbbVie, a pharmaceutical company. But let's start with how I found it. So, a deep dive. As you can recall, it's about screening for something to analyze, then doing technical analysis to make sure the timing is at least isn't off, and then checking the macro environment, and after that doing the actual valuation part, where we try to estimate on the one hand the fundamentals, and on the other hand the trajectory for the valuation multiple of that fundamental. Finally, we make an assessment of the annual total return that we are likely to get from the company. And the annual total return, it's a composite of, on the one hand, the annual change for the relevant fundamentals, the annual change in the valuation multiple for those fundamentals. So for example, we estimate the annual earnings change and the annual change in the price earnings ratio for the period we're interested in. And then on top of that, we add on whatever dividends, so the dividend yield, the annual dividend yield, to come to the total annual return from a company. And then finally, we put this all into perspective in terms of risk. And risk means the risk of permanently missing our forecasts. All right, so the screening part, what we're looking for is something that stands out, something that is screaming, I'm interesting. And we can screen based on a lot of variables. For example, whatever is moving. So let's check Finviz, for example. In Finviz, we can screen on descriptive factors, fundamental factors, technical factors, and see simply what stands out. And if we are looking for movers, we could look for today's movers, whatever is worse than 15% down on the day. Didn't find anything at all there. Whatever is down on the week, for example, and we see a couple of stocks that have had a really poor week here. Actually, AbbVie is turning up here. They have a down week. Please note, however, that I have already also entered that I'm looking in a particular industry. I'm looking for healthcare companies. It's the sector healthcare, and then among all the different healthcare industries, I'm looking at drug manufacturers in general. So as you can see, there are a lot of different healthcare sectors. And in this particular industry, I then entered here under technicals. I screened for a negative weekly performance for the stock. And we got a few companies here: Eli Lilly, AbbVie, Amgen, Organon, and Myra Pharmaceuticals. Going back to what we can look for, I mean, we can see what the owners are doing, and for that I typically use HedgeFollow. So HedgeFollow is this tool that uses the 13F reports from hedge funds and super rich individuals to see what they are doing. And here I've entered AbbVie to see what the shareholders of AbbVie are doing, which ones are selling, which ones are buying right now. Let's see the largest holders who are holding these. These are just super uninteresting holders because it's simply the largest funds there are, and they will of course hold a lot of one of the largest pharmaceutical companies. We can see whatever large trades have been done recently, who's been buying. Again, these are pretty uninteresting buyers since they simply are the largest fund managers. Sometimes the sellers are more interesting. This one is a bit interesting. He has sold half of his holdings of AbbVie recently, and Bridgewater has also sold more than half of their holdings of AbbVie. You could look into these and see what else are they doing. So I click on Cliff here and see what are his top holdings. Pretty uninteresting portfolio. What are his largest trades? He has been buying these: Adobe, Snowflake, Arista, Nvidia. And what has he been selling? Well, AbbVie is one of them. Progressive, Smartsheet, Robinhood Markets, Cardinal Health. I can't really see a pattern here to what he's doing, but I could keep clicking into whatever trades he's doing to maybe get a different idea. As I pointed out, a good way to start screening is simply to decide I am interested in a particular industry right now. It could be mining, could be pharmaceuticals, as I did here. I could screen for example, the growth rate. Let's check in Finviz, go to fundamental, see whatever EPS growth, perhaps sales growth past 5 years could be interesting. Whatever has been growing faster than 15%. Eli Lilly is the only pharmaceutical company that turned up here. Let's see what else they are showing. They are expected to grow EPS next year by 40%, EPS this year by 67%. We can see perhaps how the stock has performed. This year it's down. This quarter is down a lot. This month it's down really by a lot. So we can just keep digging through these variables to find something interesting. Returns is often a good indication of quality. With returns, I mean stuff like return on equity, for example. Return on investment, return on equity. Okay, so I have to neutralize that one. And the return on equity above 30% to see if anything shows up. Yes, it did. As you can see up here, I'm changing the filter settings. And down here, I'm changing how to view the results of the screening and the filtering. So up here, for example, I can choose descriptive or fundamental or technical. And now I have, I'm choosing drug manufacturers, and I'm choosing a high return on equity. And I got these 4 companies turned up, and I want to see what their valuations are. So I've already chosen a high return on equity, and then I can see that their valuations are very different in terms of price sales, price book, price earnings. There are no really useful full patterns here, unfortunately. Another one to choose could be dividends. If the dividend yield is high, then that can be kind of a show of force, showing that their cash flows are actually real and distributable. Also, if we want to find a high quality, well-run company, we could also screen for example, profit margins. If you have high profit margins, increasing profit margins over time, then that can show that you are a strong player in your industry. Anyway, the summary of it all here, I was screening a little bit in using Finviz, which is a resource that I recommend. It's free, it's easy to use, as you can see. A lot of various ways of displaying your results in terms of, for example, heat maps and bubble charts that I've shown before. All these types of charts showing a lot of variables at the same time. But now we've already chosen AbbVie from our screening process to do our deep dive on today.